Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is heavy menstrual bleeding. Now to know what is heavy menstrual bleeding, and when we say that this patient has heavy menstrual bleeding, first we have to know what are the normal values, what is a normal menstrual cycle. The normal menstrual cycle on average is of 28 days with a range of 24 and 32 days. The mean menstrual loss in healthy women ranges between 37 and 43 ml, but with a maximum upper limit of 80 ml. And the duration of loss varies from 2 to 7 days with a mean of 5 days. Okay, this is said to be the normal menstrual cycle. Then what is abnormal menstrual cycle? Uterine bleeding is said to be abnormal when the length of the cycle is less than 24 days or more than 32 days. Menstrual bleeding occurs for more than 8 days in a cycle, and blood loss exceeds 80 ml in a cycle of a normal or abnormal duration of bleeding and length. Okay, so abnormal uterine bleeding depends on the type of abnormality, which may be in the amount of the blood loss, the cycle length, or the bleeding days. Now moving on, before we study this topic, there are some important terminologies that we need to know, and these terminologies are important for our history, viva, and for this topic specifically. And if a patient presents to you, you get a case scenario and the patient presents with heavy menstrual bleeding, so they are important in your case presentation and in your viva, right? So the first terminology is menorrhagia. Menorrhagia is cyclic bleeding at normal intervals but is excessive in amount or duration, right? So here the bleeding is at normal interval, but it is either excessive in amount or duration, right? If a patient presents with 5/28 cycle but increased blood loss, she has menorrhagia. But if her cycle is 8/28, which is not normal, with average daily blood loss, again she has menorrhagia. So then what is polymenorrhea? Polymenorrhea is a cyclic bleeding which is normal in amount. The amount here is normal but occurs at two frequent intervals of less than 24 days, meaning that her cycle occurs before 21 days interval, right? So if a girl presents with 5 days of bleeding, which is normal, but every 21st day, this is not normal. It is known as polymenorrhea. What is polymenorrhagia? Polymenorrhagia is a combination of polymenorrhea and menorrhagia, right? Her cycle is every 21st day or before that, and she has excessive amount of blood loss. It is characterized by cyclic bleeding, which is both excessive and too frequent. It is too frequent and increased blood loss. So what is oligomenorrhea? Oligomenorrhea, defined as menstrual interval between 6 weeks and 6 months, but amount of blood loss is normal. That cycle occurs at less than 35 days or more than 35 days interval. The interval is too long. And what is oligomenorrhagia? Is a heavy uterine bleeding occurring with a cyclic length of 6 weeks to 6 months, right? What is heavy menstrual bleeding? It is heavy menstrual blood flow. What is intermenstrual bleeding? It is bleeding between two cycles. And postcoital bleeding after intercourse. Postmenopausal bleeding is bleeding after 1 year, bleeding 1 year after menopause. So what are the causes of heavy menstrual bleeding, and how do we define heavy menstrual bleeding? Heavy menstrual bleeding is defined as blood loss of more than 80 ml per period, right? These are some of the causes. It may be due to endometrial polyps, endometrial carcinoma, endometriosis, endometrial hyperplasia, adenomyosis, pregnancy loss, cervical polyp, cancer of cervix, sarcoma, fibroid uterus, ovarian tumors, or pelvic inflammatory disease. But this diagram is only to explain what are the causes. You can remember the causes with this simple mnemonic, that is F palm coin with an E, FPALM and COEIN. First is fibroids, which is the most common cause. Then polyps. The polyps can be endometrial polyp or cervical polyps. Adenomyosis, I have explained earlier. Leiomyoma, malignancies such as endometrial carcinoma, and then coagulation disorders, ovulatory disorders, endometrial causes which can be endometrial hyperplasia, iatrogenic causes such as drug therapy, for example warfarin, and there are some non-classified causes such as thyroid disease. You can also learn this by dividing it into uterine causes, ovulatory disorders, coagulation disorder, iatrogenic and non-classified. Again, uterine causes includes fibroids, polyps, adenomyosis, leiomyoma, malignancy, endometrial and ovulatory diseases can, again, endometriosis can be a cause, ovarian tumor can be a cause, and coagulation disorders, there are different diseases here, iatrogenic causes, drugs, etc., and non-classified, again, a thyroid disease. So how are we going to, what are the clinical features of heavy menstrual bleeding? It is regular excessive menstrual loss occurring over several consecutive cycles. This is the hallmark. And how are we going to know that? What is the cause? Okay, there are some associated symptoms with the heavy menstrual bleeding that help us to reach to a diagnosis, right? If a patient presents with heavy menstrual bleeding and then she has regular excessive menstrual loss occurring over several consecutive cycles, and then she has the associated symptoms. So based on the associated symptom, we can have an idea in our mind that what can be the most probable cause. The first associated symptoms which are suggestive of endometrial and cervical abnormalities are irregular bleeding, intermenstrual bleeding, and postcoital bleeding. The symptoms that are suggestive of fibroids are urinary system symptoms and abdominal mass or fullness, right? Symptoms suggestive of pelvic inflammatory disease are vaginal discharge, and suggestive of coagulative abnormalities are excessive bruising, bleeding from other sides, history of postpartum hemorrhage, and family history of bleeding problems. So if a patient presents with heavy menstrual bleeding with any of the one associated symptoms, so we can easily get an idea that what line of management should be followed. What are the signs? So the patient presents with anemia if she had a long time of excessive bleeding. She is pale looking and anemic. Abdominal mass if present, if in case of fibroid uterus, she has an abdominal mass and abdominal fullness. Pain can be due to any of the cause, and the pain is either dysmenorrhea if it is endometriosis, adenomyosis. The blood loss is due to endometriosis, adenomyosis. So she complains of severe dysmenorrhea, dyspareunia if any local cause. Constant lower abdominal pain again may be due to fibroid or endometriosis, and backache and infertility if the patient has endometriosis. The excessive blood loss is due to endometriosis, she may also complain of infertility. Now, how are we going to diagnose such a patient? The history of heavy menstrual bleeding is diagnosed by patient's own perception of blood loss. What is her own perception of blood loss? What does she consider heavy menstrual bleeding? But what are the questions that we are going to ask from the patient? The first question is, what is the length of her cycle? How many days of menstrual bleeding? How many sanitary pads she uses per day? Are they partially soaked or completely soaked? How many sanitary pads she used before? This question is just to make sure that using excessive sanitary pad is not a part of her routine habits, but is actually a matter of concern here. Does it interfere with her normal routine? Because menstrual periods and menstrual cycle are a part of a girl's daily routine, daily life. So normally it does not interfere that much with her daily work. But if she has heavy menstrual bleeding and it is concerning her, then it will interfere with her normal routine. Breathlessness. What are the associated symptoms about intermenstrual bleeding? And if she's married, so do ask about postcoital bleeding, which can help us make the diagnosis easier, because in postcoital bleeding the pathology is usually local pathology. On examination, in long-standing cases, the patient appears paler. If she has bleeding disorders, bruises can be seen. And if thyroid dysfunction, so myxedema, exophthalmos and goiter can be seen. We can perform abdominal examination. It is aimed at detecting an abdominal pelvic mass which may be responsible for the presenting complaint, and pelvic examination is also done. Per speculum examination is done and bimanual examination is done. So